to hit the recording button. Hey, I always feel good when I can remember to hit that recording button.
Yeah.
Welcome, kids. Welcome, everybody, to the Con Family Show. I've been gone for a few days. I had a much needed break out of nowhere with some great friends, and it was absolute blast. As you saw, probably the picture I shared last night, it was it was quite the trip.
Epic. That looks so fun.
Yeah, we got to get some of you kids on these trips with us. It's camping unlike anything you've ever done. I always tell people, if you like camping, you will really love camping on the river, because you get nice, clean camp spots, no fire rings with beer bottles and diapers and fish bones in them. None of that stuff. It's always nice and clean, and we really respect the river and respect the campsites and that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely look forward to it. Like I said, Sam, we had a 6-year-old kid on the trip, and I'll tell you what, this kid was like speaking to a full-grown adult. He was such an amazing. It's truly. I mean, half the time I was going, I can't believe this kid is 6 years old. Sheeping Christmas. Yeah, hey guys, we are the Con family, and we're just here to change the world. We've got this simple goal. And how is it that we're doing that again here, Sean?
One Zoom webinar at a time. No, one glass of 9.5, thank you.
Awesome, yes. And one incredible lightning bolt in a box, and one amazing guest, and one incredible family at a time. You know, we're just working it out, and it's amazing how we are indeed changing the world. And it's kind of neat, you know, being gone for 6 days out into the middle of nowhere, not being able to get any kind of communication whatsoever. It's always interesting to come back and see the different things that have happened while I've been gone, and just a consistent thing every day. Lives are changing.
I think that I think being unplugged once in a while is good for your mind, good for the soul too.
Yes, absolutely. And so today we've got my good brother Sam Tran, aka the TRAMINATOR. He became self-aware on June 7th, 2014. So you got 2 days for your 5-year anniversary of being self-aware.
That's right. Yeah, that was, looking back, that's probably one of the best things that happened to me, was being in a coma, and realizing and experiencing heaven, and then realizing what life is really about. It's kind of strange that it took something like that to wake me up.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mom.
I don't think it's strange, man. I think it's beautiful. I think so much of us have gotten so locked into the matrix that we don't think for ourselves. We don't, we just want to think everything's this big pop-up book. Yeah. And I think for me, just to hear about your story, Sam, it's as humbling as it gets, because, you were doing the deal. You were overachieving your ass off, man. Vietnam kid coming in there probably running shit. With humility and grace, and still, but you were sharp, you were on the ball, and for you to go through all that and then to have the backside of your experience evolve into what it has, I mean, it's, talk about just God using you as a beacon of light in the world of darkness, dude. That's just insane. And you use something like that could have broke a lot of people. You could be sitting around right now going, oh, yeah, I was in a coma. I almost died. Feel sorry for me. You don't. Yeah. You're empowered with it. You've totally maximized your understanding of it as best you can. And, life's 90% of what happens to us, or 10% of 10% of what happens to us, and 90% of how we respond. You're a wonderful example of responding with a great attitude and gratitude. That's awesome. Not that I'm happy it happened to you, but I mean, when you say that, I'm like, thank God he transformed you like he did. The Terminator, the Transformer,
Yeah, there's a reason why my last name is there's a reason why I think everything happens for a reason, and it's up to us to discover that reason why things happen, and to find meaning in things. And I just got back home from taking my daughter to school, so sorry about walking around. But yeah, I think things happen in life, and we either are clued into looking at what can we learn from this, or we're just not clued in. You know, um, some people just kind of go through life kind of they're there physically, but they're not there spiritually. They're not there mentally, I guess. Like going through the motions. And I think that's a lot of our society now, because I think people become emotionally detached from their life because life hasn't really turned out the way that they envisioned it. So.
If people look back at that kind of situation, if they're truthful with themselves, they look at it and realize that the reason things didn't turn out the way they wanted is because they didn't work hard enough, didn't do the things that they really needed to do. And so often we want to blame other people instead of looking back at ourselves. And, we all have choices. We all get to make those choices. And like you've always said, Sam, often it takes tragedy to break out of the spell, or whatever. They're not worried about their health until they lose it. And they've got this tragic situation, and now all of a sudden their health is the most important thing to them. I mean, it's kind of a shame that people can't get their health in line and their priorities there before they lose it. It's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah. I think that's that. So you know how I always say wake up. Like when we're trying to help people wake up, and so waking up would have to mean the meaning there is that you've been asleep, right? When we say wake up to someone, that we're actually saying that, hey, you need to like stop sleeping, right? Yeah. And when you're sleeping, you're not fully aware, right? When you're sleeping, let's say at night when you sleep, there's things going around the world that you're not fully aware of,
right?
Because your eyes are closed and your mind's kind of turned off, and you're in a dream state, right? Well, that's what's going on in our society today. People are going through the motions, but they're not there. They're not thinking. They're not using logic. They're not emotionally there. They're not plugged in to like. I think I wrote something this morning like, if people really think sugar is causing diabetes, and I think that's the big belief, right? Then why is high fructose corn syrup in everything? Right? It just people are like, yeah, that's a good question. Why don't we question that? Why is high fructose corn syrup so cheap? Why is it government subsidized? How come we have mountains of corn? So cheap. It's so cheap that we don't use cane sugar.
And 70% of the corn's GMO'd.
Yeah. And so it's just like, people, that's what I mean by wake up. Like you gotta be conscious. You gotta be like aware of what's going on. These things like don't happen by accident. It's policy. It's not by accident that sugar is so cheap. Yeah. That's by design. That's some government policy. There's a subsidy for corn growers, right? So you can trace it back. But
yeah, Sam, that was one of the hardest things that hit me when I read that book, World Without Cancer, all those years ago. Two things that really explain why the whole cancer epidemic is so bad. There's two things that have been removed from our diet systematically. This didn't happen by accident. It didn't happen by the market forces or anything like that. It happened out of, despicable government policy, and that our main grain when our grandparents were growing up was millet. And millet is loaded with an essential vitamin compound that your body needs, and it needs it desperately. It used to be a huge part of the American diet. And that millet was replaced with wheat. And wheat doesn't have any of this vitamin compound in it, none. And then the sugar, the main sugar used to be sorghum cane. And now the sugar has been changed to beet cane or sugar cane. And both beet cane and sugar cane, they don't have any of this vitamin compound in them, but sorghum cane's loaded with it. So those two things right there that were systematically stripped out of the American diet have been a huge, huge part of the reason why we have this epidemic running rampant now. I mean, what is it? It's almost to 50% now. 1 out of every 2 people is going to get cancer.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it just, there is a, you could pull this study up. You can go on Google, just straight up Google and just say chemicals and diabetes. And then you go under images and there'll be this little chart, this little graph. And then if you click on that graph, it'll show, I don't know if you could share your screen there, JJ.
I could do that.
I'll walk you guys through this.
Okay, let's do it. We'll share this desktop over here.
Yeah.
And so,
great. Okay, so go on. Just go on Google or something there. And you can go on PubMed, but it's a little easier to find on Google here. And I know Google is the bathroom wall of the internet these days. So, but we're gonna go to a government site, okay? Okay, so you go chemicals and diabetes. Okay, hit search, and then when you hit search, it'll yield a bunch of things. And click on images, do an image search. I think it's going to come up here. And then I think along the top there, it says video, images, images right there. Gonna pull this up. Let's see here. So what'd you type? Did you type chemicals and diabetes?
Yeah. For some reason, I don't know what this search encrypt is all about, but it's for some reason my thing switches away from Google.
Maybe you're on some other. So it usually should come up with this diagram of well, actually, okay. Do go back to a full church here. I want to show you guys how to find this. I'll go back to everything, like not just image search, but to go back to just straight up Google. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So search the paradox of progress.
The paradox of progress?
Yeah. Okay, is there something about the paradox of progress and diabetes? And maybe we add diabetes to the end of that search phrase. Okay, hit search there. Find anything? So there should be something from the American Diabetes Association. Actually, here, let me find out on my phone. I can send it to you guys too. But what they're saying is, our modern chemicals are causing diabetes, right? And that came from the American Diabetes Association. Well, they published it, but it was from the National Institute of Health, right? And so it's not really sugar per se, right? Because there's all these causes, and one of the big ones is chemicals. And so you can look at, let me share this with you in Messenger. And then I think you can, yeah, I just sent it to you in Messenger. Um, Send you the link there. But you clicked on that.
Let me go to, real quick, I'll go to Facebook.
Right. So anyways, we have all these modern issues, and what's happening is people are not waking up to the fact that it's happening. It's just, there's no way that you can be allergic to food. It doesn't make any sense. I just sent you the link too. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense that people are allergic to wheat. It doesn't make any sense that people are allergic to um, uh, shellfish. How long have people been eating, like, oysters and crab and those type of things, right? How long have people been, it doesn't make any sense that people are allergic to pollen. Like every spring, people have, they get their Claritin and nasocrom and, whatever eye spray or nose spray or pill that they take so they can breathe without, having asthma attacks or something like that.
So can you see what's on my screen right now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, this is what we were looking for.
Yep. And so you see what's going on there, right? You see, like, you got all these chemicals that are in society. And when did those chemicals come about? When did chemicals become a big part of our society?
Industrial Revolution?
Yeah, that's part of it. Okay, so when did chemicals become part of the big food chain?
When Monsanto took over? I don't know.
I use like after World War II.
Right.
Yeah, before World War II, everyone had their gardens, right? Their little victory gardens. Everyone grew their own food and everyone canned their own food, right?
Right.
Then after World War II, you started having convenience stores. Started having, not convenience, supermarkets, grocery stores. Canned foods. And so that's what happened. Like farming. There used to be a lot of small farmers, and now it's all industrial farmers, right? And the industrial industry is really geared for making profit, not necessarily doing the right thing, but just increasing yield and driving the profit margin. And so that's what we have. We have lots of chemicals, and you see the second category there. That's how those chemicals come into our body. And then the third part is what organs they stick to. So they stick to all the fatty tissue that we're made out of.
What's transplant placental?
Oh, you pass it to your children. You pass these chemicals to your children
Oh, okay.
through the placenta, right? And
Yeah.
then all these chemicals stick to fatty tissue, brain, liver, pancreas, all sorts of things, muscle, skin, you know. And then as a result, they disrupt hormones. They disrupt hormones, and then you end up having obesity, diabetes, all sorts of things. And we keep finding more, right? We keep finding, like, irritable bowel syndrome. Like, when did that come about? When was that a discovery? Like,
Yeah, well, there's all kinds of crazy diseases going on now. Kids that are born with asthma and whatever. Just all kinds of
yeah,
insane
So
stuff. That
it's happening, right? It's happening. So if you you know if we as a species do not wake up to what we're doing to ourselves, you know, then there's it's I'm not so worried about um, global warming and climate change and all those things. I think it's happening, but it's all man-made. Like these chemicals, it's not like nature came up with Roundup. nature didn't invent GMO. All scientists in another profession trying to solve this, provide enough food for people, right? And in providing enough food, they messed up the food, right? We don't have a food shortage in America, right? What we have is a nutrition shortage.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You have lots of empty calories. You have calories. You have meals that are like 1,200 calories, but no nutrition. And there's this thing I read the other day about nutrition deficit is being a business model where they give you the calories, but nutritionally the the calories are empty, and so therefore your body will keep searching for nutrition, and you order a second meal. Right? You'll look for the supersize because your body doesn't know that there's no nutrition in there. It just thinks, oh, I didn't, I'm not fully satisfied with nutritionally yet, so I'll keep eating, and that's how you end up with obesity.
Yep, and then also a lot of those calories and such are not only empty, but in a lot of cases they're actually really bad for the body. Correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they're full of preservatives. I mean, you look at a McDonald's chicken nugget or hamburger. Why does it last so long? Why doesn't it mold? You take a Twinkie, it will last like 50 years in the package, and it will be soft and fresh. When you break it out of the package. Why do things last 6 months? Why do things last a year without spoiling? Why won't the ants? Or mold go on it? We have to ask these things, right? Because it's not real food anymore. It's a lot of what you have on that picture there. It's all chemical.
Right.
You can't even burn with a match or a lighter. You can't even burn American sliced cheese. It doesn't do anything. It just blackens. It won't melt and drip.
Yeah. And so these things, these food items are not, chemically they're not much different than plastic. There's things that we're putting into our body that our body is having issues with, right? That's why you have irritable bowel syndrome. That's why you have food allergies. The body is infinitely smart, right? So when you eat something and it's not compatible, you're gonna have a reaction. You're gonna throw it up. You're gonna puke it out, right? That's a natural reaction that it's not compatible with your body and your life. And so what do? I'll take this thing that will decrease the nausea. No, there's a reason why nausea exists for a reason. You get nauseous because you gotta get rid of that stuff.
Right.
And so that's why I'm plugged into it. As I see these things happening. Here's an example. The other day, I think it was on Saturday or Sunday, Spencer's team was really short on soccer players. So they played without any substitutes, right? And the other team had like 4 or 5 substitutes. And so these guys are getting really winded, really, gassed, right? And then, some of them getting leg cramps and all sorts of stuff. Well, what happens when you exercise, right? You build up lactic acid, right? And Spencer said he felt nauseous. Well, what happens to like bodybuilders when they exercise so much that they build so much acid up in their body, and people who exercise to an extreme level, sometimes they throw up, right? Because you're going so extreme. Well, why would the body make you throw up? Because that's a really fast way of getting rid of acid from the body.
Mm.
Right? If you're building up so much acid, the fastest way to get it out of you is to get rid of your stomach acid. Right?
Right.
And then make more stomach acid, and in the meantime make the bicarbonates in your blood to balance your pH out. I mean, the body is a machine, but it's such an efficient machine that we can't just start going in there and poking around like we know what we're doing. But that's what's going on. That's what I was a part of. And that's what society is doing. Food is there for a reason. It's not like, it's not like God forgot to make something and then he's leaving it up to us to come up with the fix. Oh, oops, I forgot to, I forgot to work on the immune system. Can you chemists or can you scientists help me with that part? No, I'm sorry, but our creator didn't do that, didn't make that mistake. He made us whole. He made us complete. He made us so complicated that we shouldn't mess with it. And as humans, we think we're so advanced, and we go in and we start messing with things like, now we got 4G and 5G. Wait till 5G hits, guys. It's gonna be nuts.
What was that last thing you just mentioned?
Wait till 5G,
Oh.
the fifth generation of wireless. These energy waves, microwave energy is not something created by Earth, by nature, right? That's all man-made. It's all self-inflicted. And so that's, when I say wake up to people, that means like wake up to the fact that these things are profit centers for people.
Yeah.
That's why you follow the money and it goes back.
Yeah, when we had Bob Wright on the show a couple weeks ago, we had quite a bit of discussion about the 5G.
Yeah.
And a good, it's not the all end all be all, but definitely Kangen water is a huge aspect of so what I said in the show is I said, I tell people all the time, because there's a lot of discussion about this 5G. There's a lot of posts on it about Facebook. And every time I see one of those posts, I always say, I thank God every day and Mr. Oshiro for hooking me up with Kangen water.
Yeah.
Because it gives my body, some ability to get rid of the toxins and the poisons that are created from that. What's your thought process on that, Sam?
On the water?
And how it can help us protect ourselves against this 5G, this radiation onslaught, this microwave onslaught, whatever the heck it all is.
Yeah, so it's a source of antioxidants, right? It's a source of energy, right? Because you get the ORP, you get the negative charge, right? If you look at the grounding and earthing, right, where you just go barefoot on the earth, right? There's a reason why we're called earthlings. There's a reason why we live on the planet. We don't live in space, right? That's so we can be connected to the earth. The earth is literally a negative charge, right? The earth itself has a negative charge, and the atmosphere has a positive charge, right?
Yeah.
We're earthlings. We're supposed to live on the planet, and so we're supposed to be connected on the planet. And so we're supposed to walk around barefoot on the planet and be connected to the source of energy, the source of, and this is coming from a pharmaceutical guy, right? I sound like some hippie or something, but I'm an ex-pharmaceutical guy, right? So we're supposed to get those electrons in our body to help us run, to help us function, to help us repair. And so, because we're not walking around barefoot all the time, we walk around with, rubber shoes, right? And we're disconnected from the earth. That when you provide this electrical energy, this charge, these electrons back to the body, then the body can function. I mean, we're talking like quantum physics. We're talking energy and things like that now. We're talking things that are not apparent to the eye. But I guarantee you, separate someone from the earth, like put them, disconnect them with the earth, disconnect them with nature, see what happens. It's not a good outcome.
Isn't that kind of what happens for space people up in space?
Yeah.
Why they can't survive up there all that long?
Yeah, we're not designed for that, right? I know that we, if you look at our physical structure, if you look at every other animal on the planet, every other animal is running around with no shoes on, right? We're the only ones that wear shoes, right? And so we're the only one that's disconnected from the Earth. And so it just, yeah, we're not designed to do certain things. Just like we're not really designed to go like hit heads on in football, you know, in on Sunday. We're not really designed for that structurally, and that's why we have all these concussions and all these brain injuries, because we're hitting each other's, you know, we're running full speed onto each other, right? And it's like, you know, now we study why we have headaches and why we have not headaches, but you know, all the football players have, you know, suicidal tendencies after getting, you know, X number of concussions and things like that. It's like, really, we got to study that? No, you just got to stop hitting each other in the head. It's really, it's because we don't have the structure, right? You're not a ram. You're not a big mountain uh, elk or ram that has big antlers and things like that. And that's how they're designed to do that. We're not designed to do that. And so that's my thing, is like, we need to get back to how things are meant to be, not the convenience about modern society.
I'm a Ram fan.
Amen.
But you look at it, we're not designed to do a lot of things that we're doing. Like, you know, they keep finding all these ocean animals, ocean mammals with plastic bags in their stomach and things like that, right? So can't we see that if it's happening to them, it's happening to us? You know, can't we see that the climate is changing and it's affecting whatever polar bears, and it's affecting, you know, bird migration, that's going to affect us because we're also on this planet.
Yeah.
You know, and then we sit there and we spend millions and millions of dollars researching, oh, why this and why this that, you know, why that is. You know, it's like, I find it funny sometimes reading these studies. Like there was a uh, Ian Rood put out a study, someone had sponsored, that 25 cups of coffee was okay or something, that didn't really affect brain chemistry. You know, and I don't know, some research, someone paid for that research. It's like, really, do we need that kind of research? Do we need to find out that 25 cups of coffee is not going to change your body chemistry? And then I wrote a comment on there. I was like, that's just stupid science. I mean, science is to the point where it's asinine. You know, it's kind of, it's like butthead science.
Can I ask you,
Yeah.
isn't that kind of why we've kind of gotten lost in our ability to think critically? I mean, doesn't that reflect that?
Yeah.
That's what seems to be my assessment, is that we've just lost our ability to use common sense, to use, you know, horse sense, just
Yeah. Yeah.
street smarts or what have you.
It's
We
instinct,
want
right?
to believe, you know, they pay for those studies because we want to believe what we want to believe. We don't want the truth.
Yeah. Well, we want something that supports our existing belief. You know, and that's
Right.
called confirmatory bias. We want something to confirm our existing belief. And so that's why it's really tough to convince someone of something different, something new, right? I mean, that's why the people that discover things, they're often ridiculed during their life, and what they discover is actually fact after they're dead, right? You think of some inventor like Nikola Tesla. You know, everyone thought he was a whack job in his time, right? Dealing with energy and things like that. And now you're like, wow, this is pretty amazing. Now you know, now we're putting energy and radiation into the world, into our brains, and we're wondering why, right? I mean, everyone, you know, here's the thing with humanity. Everyone on the planet at one point thought the earth was flat, and if you sailed your ship too far, it would sail off the end of the earth, right? And the scientists at that time said, yes, don't sail too far, don't go to. Everyone on the planet, whether it was, you know, the PhDs at that time and just the whole mass of humanity, thought the earth was flat, right? Well, the whole mass of humanity right now thinks that these chemicals aren't having an effect. right? That 4G and 5G is perfectly okay. Well, we can look back now. We can look back at 400 or 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, and we can say, well, those guys are clueless. Those scientists back there, they didn't know what the hell they were talking about, right? We can obviously say that. But what do you think the scientists 500 years from now are going to say about us? The same thing, right? I can't believe you guys put GMO in your food and you thought and you couldn't figure it out. You couldn't figure out the clues that yeah, these chemicals are not compatible with your gut bacteria. And I can't believe you couldn't figure it out that's why all your kids are itchy. And everyone's diabetic, and you still couldn't. Half the people are diabetic, and you still couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, get a clue.
Yeah, no doubt. That's kind of an interesting point, Sam, because like there's a pretty good documentary series out there called The Truth About Cancer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sure you've ran across it or probably even, seen a lot of it. But one of the things that I thought was so crazy about that was when they were talking about chemo.
Mm-hmm.
When chemo is created in the laboratory, the person that's doing the lab work and that kind of stuff, they're dressed in full-scale nuclear garb. They got a full suit with a full respirator, with full gloves, with full boots, with full everything. They don't even want that stuff to even touch them. They don't want to even inhale it or anything. And yet this is supposed to be something that's okay to shoot into your body in massive amounts to so-called kill cancer.
Yeah. Do you know why? Do you know why that? Do you know why that is, and why that's accepted as okay?
Right? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. That's for sure.
Okay, so there's this risk-reward ratio, right? So when you're dealing with something terminal, when you're dealing with something as serious as cancer, right? If you do nothing, you'll certainly die, right? And so it's considered, quote unquote, not standard practice, and like you can't let someone just die, right? And so we have to preserve and help them out, right? And so even to the point of giving them something toxic that might decrease their life. That's how backwards it is, And so the risk of doing nothing is certain death. So based upon that risk, we will take this chance, even though the chance is like Russian roulette, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
And so here's the thing: doing nothing will probably make you live longer than taking the chemo.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you take chemo, that's a load on the body. I mean, if the body's already beaten down, if the body's already beaten down by years of bad food choices or chemical load or whatever, adding additional chemical load to kill the cancer, to kill the tumor, is going to be, you've got to survive the treatment, right? And if you've got to survive the treatment, you're like, what am I taking here? You're taking something that's radioactive. You're taking something that's what they call cytotoxic, toxic to the cell. Cytotoxic chemotherapy. It's not a misnomer. They name it exactly right. It's just that we think, and we've bought into this whole system that everyone else knows better than us. Yeah. And no one, as a researcher, just the word research means what? Means like you redo something, right? And search. So I'm constantly searching for ways to do something, right? And what is research? Research is science, right? What is science? The scientific method, right? Which is hypothesis and theory. So I'm a professional guesser, because if I knew exactly what I was doing as a scientist, wouldn't it all be solved already?
Right.
I mean, you look at engineering, you look at like what Elon Musk and SpaceX have done. Literally, they have done more advancement in the past 10 years than NASA did for the past X number of, decades. I mean, literally, we have rocket ships like taking off by themselves, like unmanned, right? These are all unmanned. There's no people driving things, right? And then the rockets return to Earth and they get reused again. Like really, like that's just mind blowing, right? That you have rockets like taking off like in the cartoon books and then re-landing. Like what's it, Flash Gordon style or something like that. You know what I mean? I mean, look at us. We're sitting here. I'm using my phone to do this Zoom meeting with you, right? And you're off in some other state. You might as well be in the other side of the world, and we have this technology connecting us, right?
Yeah.
Right. This internet, right? But biologically, but in the science world, we can't even fix acid reflux. Really? What the hell's going on? You got also, you got cars driving themselves. You got rockets like going to space and landing themselves. You've got like with the satellites, not satellites, but things going out into space and going out to Neptune or something and sending pictures back. You got all of that. And then on the planet, we can't even fix acid reflux.
Yeah. It's kind of that. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Sam.
No, go ahead. It's so backwards, right? It's so that there's why don't we expect the same level of progress from medicine and healthcare as we are experiencing in other fields of study?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we were talking at the beginning, you were saying, hey, let's talk a little bit about mindset. And, this stuff all has to do with mindset and people's thought processes. And it got me thinking about something that I kind of opened up a little bit of a hornet's nest, I guess. After we had Bob Wright on the show, I decided to join in on this cancer support group on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And once I got accepted into the group, the first thing I did was I posted up that show. And I'll be darned if they didn't remove it. They removed it. And I got all these just absolute brutal comments, just calling me a charlatan and all this other stuff.
Sensitive.
Yeah.
Respect other people's deal. No, it's insane. People want pity. They don't want to get healed.
Yeah. Well, there's. So the mindset here. The mindset. Remember what I said about confirmatory bias. Mm-hmm. So people want support for their situation, right? So let's say I have a friend with the flu. Right. And my friend says, well, Sam, you don't know what the flu is like. You don't have the flu. Right. And so they're basically saying that, oh, I should get the flu too. So the two of us could have the flu together so I could know exactly what they're going through. It's like, hell no. You got cancer. I'm trying to pull your ass out of that hole, not to get into the foxhole with you. Or you're depressed. Well, you don't know what depression is like, Sam. It's like, no, I don't need to crawl into that pit with you. I'm trying to pull you out. But a lot of people are in that hole. They're trying to get more people in the hole so they can commiserate. What is it? Misery loves company, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. Well,
I had a gal yesterday.
Like, yeah, if you're miserable, enjoy yourself, because I'm not trying to crawl into that hole with you.
Yeah, I had a gal yesterday saying I couldn't relate to her because I'm not a recovering alcoholic, and I don't understand what recovering alcoholics go through. And the whole post was a positive post about getting through and fighting through, and you have the strength, you can get it. It was totally supposed to empower, and she was started chiming in about what none of us that are recovering alcoholics don't understand. And we don't know how to walk the talk like they do. And you're just like, good Lord. I ended up blocking her. I was like, I don't even know her anyway, but it's like, I don't need a pity party.
that's getting rid of, that's having a mindset, right? That's also a mindset is kind of like the thermostat that you set in the temperature of your home, right? So if you have a positive mindset, you're going to want to improve yourself. You're going to want to pull others up, right? But having a negative mindset, you're going to want to pull others into your situation because it's all about you and your drama. So I don't need to know people's drama. It's like there's like if I want drama, I'll turn on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. I got a question. Have you ever received any feedback? I got a cousin that I don't know, man. I give the guy as much credit as I can, but he basically started giving me grief. He's always jumping in on stuff. Even a couple of posts you shared, he jumps in, and he ended up telling me in the message that yeah, I make people feel inferior with my posts about this water. And I just thought, how in the hell? I didn't even know how to respond to it. But have you ever gotten that one? That your language, how you put it out there so boldly,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
makes
yeah.
people feel inferior?
I do. I mean, I get a lot of that too. But here's the thing: if uh, if they need to hear it a certain way for it to be true, right? And if my speech is offensive, right, and my it makes them feel inferior, then who is it that is being offended? Is it the self or is it the ego?
It's their
We
ego.
live in an egotistical society. Everything is about self. Myself, look how I look, Instagram this, Instagram that. You know, it's all about self. So my approach is I'm trying to wake your ass up before crisis or tragedy takes you out. And
Yeah.
yes, I'm going to offend you to save your life. And because I care that much. But if you don't care, hey man, take the offense, unfriend me, survival of the fittest. Life goes on. So that's my mindset. Like I and JJ and I kind of discussed having a talk on mindset. Here's the thing. This stuff is happening. You know, children are becoming diabetic. Children are dying from cancer, right? People have irritable bowel syndrome. People are allergic to pollen of all things, right? Which is in the air. Okay. So you want me to sugarcoat it that these things are happening, or you want me to sugarcoat it as like you want me to commiserate and then also take Claritin pills with you? You know, like we can't be. At some point, we got to say that the truth is the truth,
Yeah.
right? We gotta own up. Yeah, I mean, if they want to bury their head in the sand, go ahead. But I'm all about the truth. I'm all about just waking us up to, like, you know what? These things are a little bit topsy turvy in our society, right? Like the government's broke, Social Security is empty. Everyone's busting their butt working a job and a half or two jobs, and they can't, like, they have nothing to leave their children. And it's happening. So why can't we say that it's happening and then demand change or make a change for ourselves? You know, but that's the victim mentality. It's like if my talk about water and my talk is too strong for you, then turn the channel.
Yeah.
Go bliss out in your corner there. Turn the channel. Unfriend me, please. I have no time to convince people that got their head in the sand. And so it's good because for some people they need crisis to wake their ass up. I mean, that's what it took me. I mean, you see the scar in the back of my head, right? Right there, right? That's what happened 5 years ago. I thought I was this, hotshot scientist. I thought I'd done some great things being an immigrant, being a refugee from Vietnam, going to college and working in the pharmaceutical research, making six figures. I thought it was all roses, right? And then, you know, hit my head and realized, holy crap, I better do something different in my life, right? Well, maybe people will have to have that holy crap moment. Like someone in their family literally has to die before they quit smoking.
Right.
You know, someone literally has to get lung cancer before they quit smoking. Right? And that's how dense people are today. You know, it's like, I don't know. I don't know what's it gonna take. Yeah, so for me to offend you with the truth, I'll take that. I'd rather slap you with the truth than attend your funeral.
Yeah. Amen. You know, that's the thing about you, Sam. I got to tell you, I've learned so much from you, and I'm so grateful to have you as a friend. And you know, it was a really neat experience actually getting to give you a real hug and all that stuff. And I look forward to many more years of interacting and all that kind of stuff, because we're literally two peas in the same pod. I'm interested in truth, and I don't care how much it hurts. I don't care. I gotta,
Yeah.
and you have really helped me a lot with all of this, because, you know, a few things you've said, like, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to save your life. You know, that's a powerful thought process and a powerful mindset. The other thing you said that really rang for me, really has helped me a lot, and that is that I can't care more for your health than you do.
Yeah.
You know, I used to feel so bummed out when somebody who really needed Kangen water would not drink it. It used to just bum me out like crazy. Now, it doesn't even bother me in the least. It's like, hey, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't care about your health. Well, you expect me to care about your health, and you don't even give a rat?
Yeah, exactly. That's called detachment. So I've become detached, right? Well, some people might call that unhinged or whatever, but I've become detached from the outcome. I'm gonna do what I do, right? I know what I know. I'm getting the results I'm getting. Now, if you're doubting it, hey man, that's your deal. We're not in junior high. You know, what do you want to become when you grow up? You know, you're a grown ass man or woman, you know, dealing with this stuff, right? You're
Yeah.
like 45 or 50 or 80 years old, and you're still trying to figure this out. You know, it's like, really, you're trying. This is the 10th chemical, the 10th type of pill that you're trying. You know, maybe the 11th pill will work. You know, it's like at some point you got to, like, you know, call the whole, you know, call people out. If they say that they know what they're doing, then there's got to be results, right? And so I just tell people, you got to wake up to, like, you got to know what you're doing, because it's your life. And if you believe in chemicals, you believe in all these experts, and I hope it's working out for you. Because if it's not working out and you're still believing in those experts, maybe they're not experts.
Yeah.
How's that for a concept?
Amen.
Maybe the experts don't know what the hell they're doing.
You know, that's exactly it, Sam. I remember one thing that's always kind of blown my mind when it comes to, and not always, but at the age of 27, that's when, you know, luckily for me, I didn't have to have tragedy strike to wake up and look around. All I had to do was read a book, and reading that book taught me something that made me want to learn more, wanted me to, you know, and I wanted to keep learning. And I don't care. I've changed my paradigm lots of different times based on the evidence, not based on how I feel. And it's always blown my mind how people can't grasp the concept that it's simply not in a doctor's best interests for you to be healthy. If you're healthy, they don't make squat. How are they going to pay for their Beamer and their cabin or whatever? You know, how are they going to do that if you're healthy?
Yep.
It has never made any single slightest bit of sense to me that people will take the doctor's word as if it is coming directly from God himself, when there's simply, you know, we always talk about the motivation side of things. You know, why is somebody motivated to do this or motivated to do that? Where when it comes to health, there's absolutely no motivation whatsoever on the side of a doctor for you to be healthy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You know, that's why it's all upside down, right? I think that people are really figuring out that things are upside down. Things are not, like the word, just the word healthcare. So health and care. So there's someone caring for your health, right? So the more healthcare that you have, the more healthy you should be, right? According to the word, right? It's like, no, but the more healthcare that you have, that means the more sick you are, not healthy you are. So healthcare is not, like healthcare is not really healthcare. It's actually sick care.
Yeah.
You go see the doctor when you're sick. You don't go to see the doctor when you're healthy, right?
Some
You
people
take
do.
drugs when you're sick. You don't take drugs when you're, you don't take drugs when you're healthy.
Right.
But it's so backwards that we've put this thing on this pedestal, and our whole society is has been programmed or brainwashed to think that, you know down is up and up is down. It's so backwards. Like,
Yes.
because I'm a researcher, I'm a scientist, right? And people think, wow, that's so great. I'm like, literally, you think it's so great? I'm dealing with chemicals, trying to unravel, trying to understand disease. And I got to some point in my career where I said, what the hell am I doing? Why am I studying disease? Like chasing ambulances or following around sick people, creating disease models that model human disease so we can have a white powder to treat the symptom. Why don't I just go study the people that live to 110? Why don't I go study the happy people? Why don't I study the fit and healthy people, the happy people? Why don't I do that? What a concept, huh? It's
Amen,
so
brother.
ingenious, right?
It's like the name of Bob Wright's book,
Yeah,
Killing Cancer, Not People.
yeah.
Wow, what a concept. Holy,
It's
who'd have
like,
thunk?
that's why JJ. So a lot of the things, if you really look at some of the things I post, well, it's just straight up logic. It's just so simple. It's just so simple that it makes people think. And because it makes people think, it makes me think, like, why aren't people thinking like this? Right? I mean, like later today, I'm going to be heading up to Canada to help my team up there. Like, so if I drive north, I should get to Canada, right? Right? Well, it's an hour and a half away, 2 hours away, right? But if I drive north and I end up in like Oregon, then something's messed up with my map, or maybe someone moved Oregon around, or I don't know what the hell's going on, right? If I drive north and end up in Mexico, something's really messed up, right? My GPS, or maybe I don't know, something's changed,
Like
right?
to call that something's haywire.
Yeah. Right? So here's the thing, I take that same approach with everything else. If I pay my car mechanic $1,000 to fix my car, that car better be running smooth, running really good after I pay him the $1,000, or we're gonna have some words, right? That's just a machine, okay? So if I pay someone money to help me fix something with my body, right, then they better get to the root cause and diagnose it right and fix it, because I'm paying them hard-earned money,
Right.
right? It's just I hold people to a standard. I hold myself to a standard. I hold other people to a standard. Why are we lowering the bar? Why are we giving people a free pass? You know, ain't no free passes. I mean, if you're a politician, ain't no free passes. I'm going to hold your feet to the fire, right? And I think that's what people are really fed up and sick of in this society now. They're sick of talk. They're sick of people like promising all sorts of things and not delivering, right?
Yeah.
And I'm helping people wake up to that fact, that it's power to the people. We got to change. The problem is like we keep on taking this stuff like spoon fed. We're fed complete BS, and we're okay with it, and we just open up wider, and then you know and we get spoon fed this stuff, and people like, oh, it's perfectly okay. Well, the doctor said it, or the expert said it. I mean, you look at Flint, Michigan, right, guys? Flint, Michigan, all those city council people and all those government officials said, oh, don't worry, the water's perfectly safe. You guys can feed it to your children, cook with it. Don't worry. Don't mind the itching or the hair falling out. It's not a big deal. Like, really? Every other animal is like running away from that water. And here we are as humans listening to the authorities that say it's okay. Same thing with cigarettes. Cigarettes, they used to have advertisement with doctors saying that, oh, this is less irritating for my throat. And me as a doctor, I smoke Camels. It's like, really? It's like, what the hell's going on? And so, isn't the same thing happening today?
Yeah.
But that's what's going on. So we got to wake each other up. We got, now, actually, I put things out there, and I put things out there to make people think, because that's what we need more of in our society. But guess what? If you don't, it's still survival of the fittest, right, guys? It's still survival of the fittest in 2019. If you're not fit, physically, financially, spiritually, emotionally, you're going to be taken out. I'm sorry, but that's not a human law. That's a natural law. Like, every animal has to survive on this planet, and we're not exempt because we're human.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you've been suffering for 20 years, hey, you need to wake your ass up to say that, what the hell's going on here? Right?
Right.
We need to have critical thinking. It's like, yeah, why does the McDonald's hamburger never mold? That's kind of weird. I left on the plate like a month ago, and it still looks exactly the same. It's like, really? What the hell's going on here? And so that's what we need to get back to. And I don't know what happened in our society that we started listening to other people. We started listening to our authorities and things like that. So I'm just a big fan of, because I had this wake up incident, right? I had this incident that almost killed me, and it changed the way I look at the world. And so I don't expect everyone to see things the way I see, but if they don't see it for themselves, they're going to go a certain way. And I'm sorry to say, but the planet's overcrowded as it is. And so if you're not going to survive, or you're not going to thrive on this planet, then I guess like you'll be taken out.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. It's not my rule. I'm sorry that I say it so bluntly, but it's still survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No chemical created in the laboratory is going to exempt us from that fact.
Just because I'm human, just because I'm a U.S. citizen, just because I live in this time doesn't give me a free pass. Right? I still got to have my thinking ability, my wherewithal, right? I got to still survive. So if you think having a PhD, if you have thinking having a PhD or medical degree makes you exempt from death, I'm sorry. There's a lot of doctors that die early and get brain tumors too. Doctors get cancer too. And wouldn't that be let's say you're an oncologist, you're a cancer doctor, and you get cancer. Wouldn't that be a paradigm shifting thing?
Yeah.
A lot of them, I understand, don't get chemo. Is that what you found?
Yeah. I mean, like if you work in the emergency room, right, and you see a bunch of motorcycle accidents, do you think most doctors own motorcycles?
Probably not.
right? So they want to avoid that stuff, right? Right? If you work in the emergency room, you're seeing a lot of trauma, so you want to avoid trauma just because you don't want to be, the guy in the emergency room, right?
Right.
Well, what do cancer doctors see all the time? They see, and they see people losing their hair. They see people like, it's traumatic for them too, right? And so when it's their turn, they don't want to do it. There's studies out there. You can go on PubMed, find out, there's studies that, a lot of people in the healthcare field won't go, won't undertake what's being prescribed.
They've seen the atrocity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've woken up to it. They've had enough trauma that woke them up to like, man, I better eat some salad and go jogging once in a while. Right? I mean, why is it that dental hygienists have the best teeth? Because they're dealing with people who neglect their teeth all the time. So when they get home, they clean their teeth like extra, overtime, right? And so we got to be like that. So I'm not here to relate to people that have sickness or illness. I'm here to pull their ass out of the hole that they're in, not to get into the foxhole with them.
Yeah.
So no, I don't relate. I definitely don't relate.
That's why I love having you in the family, Sam, because you and I know we think right along the same lines of things. I want to help people, but I can't help them if they won't help themselves. And
Yeah.
so that has been a really difficult aspect of this job in the last 2.5 years. And I've told people this is the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's also the most rewarding thing I've ever done too. And what makes it so hard? Well, it's hard if you care for people and you see that you have something that can help them help themselves, and yet they don't want anything to do with it. And if you really love these people, it's difficult. But once again, I know you've really helped me in this department. I got to give you credit, brother, because you've really made my life a lot easier over the last 6 months or so that we've been conversing, and you've been teaching me. But that's really what it comes down to. I'm not going to go jump off a cliff just because someone else is going to go jump off a cliff.
I'm not, so I'm not even there to get, for to suffer. So I care so much for people, but I don't suffer their thinking.
Right.
I suffer my thinking, but I don't suffer other people's thinking.
Right.
Right. And so that's where we need, I care so much for people, but I don't give a damn what they think. And that's pretty blunt, right? Literally, I don't give a damn about what my family thinks. Right? Because what the hell do they know? They're the one that's sick. They're the one that's, so they're trying to give me advice. Right? Now, do I know everything? Of course I don't. But this I know to be true. Water is life. Now, if someone's got issues with that statement, hey man, drink all the Coke you want. I might even buy you a lifetime supply of Coke so there'd be one less idiot on the planet. You know what I mean? It's just like we got to evolve the species, not devolve the species, right?
Yes.
And so there's less and less people that use critical thinking. And there's all sorts of people using smartphones and crossing the street without looking. Well, man, I hope they get taken out because there'll be less idiots walking around with like not paying attention to the world, right?
Yeah.
Like you see people going around like this, running into things.
There's a pretty funny one out there. It's about 4 or 5 minutes long. It's just one thing after another. People walking into holes, walking out in the street, get ran over. Just all kinds of
like,
stupid
man,
crap.
we're there's evolving, right? We're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to get better, but it sure doesn't seem like it.
No, it sure doesn't. But
So,
that's what our job is, buddy. It's a pretty cool job to have, to try and help people with their mindsets, try and help people with their physical sets. And it sure is a neat journey that we are embarked upon. And I know that it sure feels neat after all these years of searching and searching and searching. What do I need to do? What do I want to do? What should I be doing? To have finally found this instrument, and this incredible family of people that I've learned so much from. And you know, when we say change your water, change your life, it's not even the slightest joke. It really is, truly is a life changer in so many ways, from mentally to physically, to financially and everything. You know, it just, what a neat thing to be able to have as a gift. And so I'm just looking forward to continuing on. And like I said before, like you said, we don't care what people think. We're going to keep doing what we do because we know we've got the truth on our side. And if anything ever exposes that it's not the truth, well, hey, you know, we're going to have to make a shift. But
I mean, that's being a visionary, right? That's being an explorer, right? If the Wright brothers really cared what people thought, you know, we'd still be sailing ships and taking trains everywhere.
yeah,
You know, if any of the inventors, any of the people that really furthered, you know, our species, you know, if like, let's say Elon Musk right now is you know, the Iron Man, I guess, the Tony Stark of the world. He's creating all sorts of stuff, right? Man, if he really cared what people thought, he probably would just folded up camp and just spent his billions on something else.
yeah,
You know, so if we really want to change the world, then we got to lose our ego. We got to stop thinking about ourselves and take things so personal. Like I literally like have become so detached, right? And I'm just living my life, and people, like, you know, people think I'm crazy, people think I'm out there, whatever. Like, it's my life, dude. What's your life have to do with my life? Absolutely zero.
yeah,
Right? And so, but then when I realized that, I suffered less because it wasn't about me. It wasn't about, you know, it wasn't about Sam. You know, so I asked myself, well, why are you undertaking this mission now? Why are you on this purpose? Why are you so driven about it? Because I'm doing this for society. I'm doing this for humanity. I'm doing this for my children. You know, if I wanted this for myself, I guess like I should have just stayed in corporate America because it would have been a lot less painful.
yeah.
Emotionally, right?
Amen. Yeah.
Right. So that's where we got to have a resolve, though. But yeah, you know, it's a bit of a rant today, but I'm trying to help people like wake up, and so that's what we're trying to do. But no, not everyone has to wake up. You know, the people that are asleep can keep sleeping, keep dreaming. That's okay. Some people just, you know, ignorance is bliss, so they could be blissful. They could be blissed out. You know, but the path that we're taking is a little tougher path, right? So you know, life goes on.
I'm going to have
And
to start taking a portion of my money and putting it into a fund for a Coke and Red Bull fund. You want a Coke? You want Red Bull? All right, here you go. Here's a lifetime supply. Knock yourself out.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what we got now, right? Now we got 99-cent hamburgers and $8 salads. It's not quite free yet, but pretty soon they're going to be handing it out like free. You know, well, I mean, you go to the fast food store and it's like free refills, right? Drink all you want. And then after they get diabetic, it's like, can't someone come up with a cure for diabetes? Like, wait, you've been drinking all you can drink, you know, supersized big gulps, you know, free refills if you get the cup or whatever. Like, really? So, but it is what it is, and life goes on.
Amen.
But,
it's like Edlin and I were talking about on yesterday's Zoom. People just poof, you know. They're just exactly what you said, man. It's insane, you know.
it's survival of the fittest.
Idiocracy isn't just a movie.
Yeah.
Idiocracy isn't just a movie.
Dude, it's become a documentary. It's a documentary now.
Isn't that the truth? Well,
All
Sam,
right, guys.
thank you so much, buddy, for coming in here again with us. We're so grateful that you take your precious time to come in here with us once a month. Just so everybody that's watching this, Sam is gracious enough to come in with us on the first Wednesday of every month and give us some pointers and some good information. And I'm just so grateful, Sam, that you're able to do this, that you're willing to do it. And I think in the long run, we're going to change a lot of lives. We're going to help a lot of people if we just keep on keeping on doing what we're doing, because we do have the truth in our pocket. And we've got the thought processes to carry it out there. So, that's where we're going to change lives. And, we are the Kong family. We're here to change the world. How are we doing that again, Sean?
One glass of 9.5 at a time. In fact, this is my second one during this call, so maybe 2 glasses.
All right, guys, have a blessed day, and then I'll catch up with you guys in person. I'm off to Canada right now, so.
Awesome, brother. Safe travels. Love you guys so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And of course, do not forget your hugs and your HooDeeHoooo.
All right, bye, guys.
Love you guys.
HooDeeHoooo.
There you go.